Well, we all have customers. Good morning. This is like speed dating, isn't it? 7 minutes. So we've got 7 minutes. I don't have a board, but I do have a very glamorous assistant who's going to take you through these 7 ways to better engage your customers. I'll be as controversial as I possibly can. So let's start with number 1. Let's stop selling to our customers. I hope my sales manager is not listening to me right now, but we believe that engagement is the new selling model, and experience, in fact, is the new way in which we measure whether engagement is good. And I think what I would say is, as tip number 1, please go back to your e-commerce sites right now, today, and find out, is it easy to do business with? Be a customer for a day. Can you find the information you need? Can you place an order? Can you configure that very complex equipment that you have so that it's tailored just to you? So that would be about your experience. Number 2, let's stick with experience. The experience starts long before you actually have your first customer. Are we still on number 2? We're on number 2. He's going. My assistant's not trained in this. Experience starts before you become a customer. So if you think about how can you engage a customer long before, and that's about your content. If your content is only on your website, that assumes that your customers know who you are. What you really want to do is place content way out in the space where people can find it. If you think, for example, that most people, 70% of a buyer's journey takes place online, on mobile, before they even go into your very expensive sales showrooms and find out about your products. A recent study from Google on Stacey's journey showed that Stacey did all her investigations on a car and the price online on her mobile before she stepped in front of the very first showroom. So where's your content? Is it out there in the places where people need to buy it? So experience starts a long time before they start to engage. Number 3, still with experience continues long after they've made the purchase. I'm going to ask you for a moment to think about yourselves as a shoe manufacturer. So think of Nike. I'm a runner, and Nike sells running shoes. I buy my shoes maybe twice a year. How can Nike keep me engaged for the 6 months when I'm not buying their shoes? Well, if you're Nike, you have got lots of great ways. One of the ways they did do it, you might remember, is in 2003, they invented a little device that fit in the bottom of your shoe, and that engaged with my iPod and told me something about my running style. That meant that I went to the Nike website to track my run 3 times every week. In the year that Nike did that, their sales went up so high, they increased sales by 10% market share, and they reduced their marketing budget by 70%. And that's because people like me went directly to their site, because that's how they kept me engaged. If you think about your company and your sites, what are you doing to keep your customers engaged until they buy again? Is it videos? Is it chat, click to chat? Is it something that you can provide out there that keeps the customer engaged? Number 4. Can you show me number 4? Because I can't remember them all. Oh, yes. Let's stay controversial. Products are dead. It's all about services. Services are the new products. Products can be copied, products can be improved upon, but services help differentiate you. So how do you turn your products into services? Well, if you're Rolls-Royce, and I know Rolls-Royce are somewhere here, they're very famous for no longer selling jet engines. They sell power by the hour. If you're a Caterpillar dealer, like one of our customers, you no longer sell just Caterpillar diggers, you sell how many miles of road that you want to lay down. And that includes the product, it includes the service, it includes the maintenance. If, like another one of our customers, you produce animal feed, you're no longer in the animal feed business, you're in the animal health business, because your feed improves the way your animals behave and perform. So again, think about your products and think about how can I digitize them or change them in such a way that it's a combination of a product and a service, because that's what makes you unique. And number 5, tip number 5. The products and the services that you create should all feed into a higher value ecosystem, an ecosystem. Now, who are the best at doing this? Apple are the best at doing this. You think about their phone and their iPad and their computer, they're all great devices in their own right. but the value is intrinsic in the ecosystem. The reason I buy them is because the software helps me communicate with my children, take photos, store them in the cloud, entertain myself through music, entertain myself through films. Now think about that just for 1 minute. When I come to buy my next phone, will I buy Apple or will I buy Samsung? Samsung might be a better phone. Google Pixel apparently is the best phone in the market. Will I buy it? Unlikely, because the value is in the ecosystem. So again, thinking about your products and your services, don't think of them individually. The best way to engage your customer is to create an ecosystem and lock them into that ecosystem. The ecosystem needs to have intrinsic value to your customers. Different way of thinking about your products and services. Number 6, what do we have for number 6? Oh yes, one of my favorites. It's very hard to engage or have an experience with people that you do not know. Well, technology is your great friend and partner in this, because whilst your prospects are looking at you and your products and your services and how you compare, guess what? You can be looking at them. Because in number 2, when I talked about putting your content out into the wider world, with the right systems in place, you can track that content. You can see what they're reading, what they're consuming, what they enjoy. They can rate the content so they can see whether it was of value to them. When they're buying, you track what they're buying, how frequently, how they respond to the price discounts that you make. That's a mechanism of engagement. So in that way, you're learning more about your customer and how better to engage with them as they are learning about you. And then my last one is, if all this has made sense in some way, then hopefully, like us, you'll believe that business-to-business marketing in its old sense, which is how manufacturers thought of it, is dead. What we should think about is our company as a brand, and the brand should appeal to the customer, the person, the consumer that we're trying to attract. So we call it B2P, brands to people. Now, manufacturers don't often think of themselves as a brand. We're a business-to-business company. Brands are for Nike, brands are for Adidas. Not true. Your brand is a reflection of your persona and your way of doing business. And the best way to achieve that is through the experience that you deliver, which can be something as simple as your website or your e-commerce site. So on my last slide, we're Infor. I'm Andrew Kinder. Infor provides customer engagement platforms for customers like you who want to have a superb customer experience. Thank you very much.